Is the Siamese algae eater the most effective algae reducer in any tank, or is it the Pleco? A lot of people ask me this question all the time, and my answer to that is both. Siamese algae eaters, if you look at this tank, it's been set up for several years. The plants are like new in here, with the exception of a few plants here and here that have a little yellowing on it. That has nothing to do with algae. That has everything to do with nutrients that are deficient possibly in the tank. In other words, I don't fertilize enough. I don't like using fertilizers, but these guys right here are the most effective, I believe, in any fish tank for making sure that algae is kept under control. And that's algae of all sorts. I haven't seen algae in my tanks in years. Not a single tank has any algae in it, with the exception of some green algae that apparently they can't get to on the glass and be as efficient on. That I just basically wipe down the tank every couple of times. I change water, and that keeps it under control. But these guys are serious eaters of algae, and as you can see from this tank, they're very effective. Like I said, this tank has been set up a very long time. The only other fish in here that helps with algae is my Pleco, which is basically it's an albino. He's not out and about right now, and just because I've got the camera on, he won't come out. And typically the Plecos are out in the evening anyways. They're slightly nocturnal. Doesn't mean that they are nocturnal, just saying that they are slightly nocturnal, and they will really come out at night and be very efficient at cleaning up any scraps in your tank, along with the corydoras. You would never know that there's probably 20 corydoras in this tank because you don't see one of them out because it's daylight. They just don't come out. But if I were to turn the lights off and have this completely dark in here, within a few minutes, you'd see corydoras everywhere at the bottom of this tank. They have their little nooks and crannies that they stay in all day long. Occasionally you'll see them out during the day. For example, if I were to feed right now, you would see them come out just to get whatever scraps they could. But these guys right here, these Siamese algae eaters, you got to be extremely careful not to get the Chinese algae eater, because a lot of big box stores like Petco, PetSmart will try to pass off Chinese algae eaters as being Siamese algae eaters. Sorry about the going in and out on the video here, but they're moving around in different parts of the tank, and so it's kind of hard to keep focus. But yeah, it's really important that you make sure you are getting the correct algae eater for your tank. Now I'm going to go around here and I want to just show you the plants that have been in here probably 5 years. This little floating plant even. I have to take care of that. But they are incredibly efficient. If you look at the rocks, anything else in this tank, this side of the tank, same thing. They're just as efficient. I just am amazed at how well these guys do at making sure that the algae is kept under control. Now, one of the things that you want to do is you do want to occasionally, because they are so efficient, is put a algae wafer in there maybe a couple of times a week in the evenings before your lights go out, and they will get some extra nutrition from that, some extra vitamins, and it will really help them to thrive. They're not a fish that dies easy. I've rarely had one die. I think I had one die of old age. Now, a couple of things you want to know about these fish before you go out and buy them is to make sure that you understand that these fish are not going to stay as small as these guys are right here. What I do is I buy them very tiny. That's when they're most effective. And I also buy them 2 or 3 at a time for every 50 gallons that I have. I will buy 2 to 3 of them, depending on how many plants I have in the tank. Now, this is not a heavily planted tank. This is sort of an island style tank, and therefore there's not a ton of plants in here, but there's enough in here that I would have, let's see, this is 120 gallons, so I believe there's 6 of them in this particular tank. And they do, like I said, a perfect job at keeping everything just absolutely tidy. But they will get big. And when I say big, I mean they'll get a foot long if you let them over time. And they're not a tank that adapts to, or they're not a fish, I mean, that adapts to the size of their tank. Some fish do that. But these guys are not one of those fish. They are a fish that will overgrow the tank size over a period of time. So you have to be careful about that and rotate them out. Either take them back and rehome them to a mom and pop store where you know that they're going to find a good home, somebody that's got a much bigger tank, and replace them basically with smaller Siamese algae eaters. Basically, by doing that, you keep your tank nice and fresh. Now, I rotated, as you can see, there's 3 of them right here. 1, 2, and this third one's right over here. And there's a couple over this way, but I'm not videoing that side of the tank. But you can see that these guys are not very big. That's because I just put these guys in here maybe a couple of months ago. They were half the size that you're seeing right here. And so, you know, within a couple of months, they've grown substantially. And but my tank is pristine, as you can see. There is nothing in here on the rocks, on the wood, which is, I believe this is Mopani wood. They keep everything just absolutely spotless when it comes to keeping your plants, your rocks, the wood. The Plecos will mostly hang out on the wood and keep the wood clean. That's really their job. That's where they like to hang out. And anyways, I will let you go. Thank you for joining me. Take a minute to like, subscribe, comment, and share. And I hope this video was helpful to you. If you have any other questions, leave them in the comments down below, and I will get back to you within 24 to 48 hours. Take care. See you on the next one.